Splat and the Mighty Inkling by Kerry McKenna. Chapter 1. A Stiff Headwind. September 26, 2001, Gatwick Airport, England. Face the dreaded line of border agents at London. Fly back to the largest city for immigration in Northern Europe, see if they take me or reject me. What a great idea. Not at all vulnerable. With nothing left in Atlanta, my few belongings sat in a fourth-floor flat in Edinburgh, waiting for me. I had left Scotland for the continent to regroup, and now I was grasping for more time. If they saw my vision for the future, they would want me to stay. When I saw the phalanx of kiosks, my intuition strongly told me that if I got that blonde agent, the middle-aged woman with the glasses, fourth from the right in blue short sleeves, I felt her portent as a coiled rattlesnake and bit down on a strong sense of dread. I knew I would get her, and it would not be good. I am psychic, after all. The passenger in front of me stepped off to the left when beckoned. Next, a voice summoned for me. Impossible! A dark-skinned agent with purple eyeshadow looked straight at me and gestured. Wait, what about the blonde one? I thought. Then, just as quickly, I'll take it. I strode to the news station with my rolling case and satchel, letting my shoulders drop. This one felt good. A slick braided bun on the top of her head, a light, easy look on her face, she actually semi-smiled. All right, maybe the universe will finally throw me a bone. Passport, please. It was out and ready. How are you today? I asked her in my most courteous, least nervous voice. Fine, thank you. And you? She replied evenly. She checked this and that, looked up at me to note that I matched my photo, nodded. Courtesy complete. What is your intention to visiting the UK at this time? I'm traveling around. Where have you traveled? Well, first Edinburgh, through Amsterdam, but mostly Edinburgh. Trying to sound breezy. Where are you coming from now? Copenhagen. Going to? London, but through to Cornwall, not staying in London. Cut to the chase. I'm actually not sure if I'm permitted to re-enter, you see, I began. I couldn't find the information online. There's no phone number to call. If you could tell me the rules, I smiled earnestly. The rules, always the rules. I had spent days looking online for anything that told me how long an American citizen needs to stay out to be allowed in. I swear it was nowhere. Yes, the rules are not easy to find, are they? She chuckled sympathetically. The information is always changing these days. Her semi-smile came back, and my ribcage settled a bit, which had been held open. Flipping with red fingernails through pages of stamp marks, she continued, You were here for 5 months in Edinburgh until September 26th? Yes, I left before my visa expired. A kid raising her hand in the front row again. Checking, she said. Yes, why did you obtain a travel visa for that visit? You don't have to. I thought that's how long I was going to stay. For sabbatical. I'm a writer. That felt slightly off as I said it. Did she even hear me? Not a twitch. Writer, speaker, holistic healer, all could be argued as truth. Actually believing myself was still difficult. The last 6 months in Scotland, I just knew I would find a mentor for a spiritual energy work. A soulmate partner, or neon finger of God pointing the way to my full potential. I needed more time, is all. If the British officials knew how I could contribute my talents, how much I already went through, I defied the universe to give a rat's ass about my vision. I reminded myself to just answer the questions. This could be easier than I think. Despite my journals in the suitcase, what they may have said. I continued. A few weeks ago, I came into a little more money from my mother, and I was just seeing if I could have a bit more time before I, don't make me say it, go back to the USA. My heart wrung itself out like a rag. Are you here on a writing assignment? No, more like a sabbatical to write. A lump of pride swallowed. Self-generated. I write about my profession, mostly. Did they send you? No, I'm self-employed. I could see she was trying to find any way to categorize me into legitimate purpose. Bless her. You've only been on the continent for 13 days? Her cultivated disinterest took a slight turn. Is that all? A lifetime ago. I took a professional workshop in Germany for my job. I'm a Rolfer. Look, if I can't enter, I'm totally happy with buying my own ticket to Amsterdam and just continue on. My voice had started to shake. She looked expectantly at me again. No one ever knows what a Rolfer is. It's a holistic bodywork that involves posture, I explained. Ignoring me, she just kept on. So you worked in Leipzig? No, ma'am, I corrected. Politeness from years in Atlanta. It was a continuing education workshop that I paid for. Then I visited my friends in Copenhagen. I knew enough to avoid any whiff of seeking work, even outside the UK. Enunciating very clearly, I repeated, I wasn't able to find how long Americans are supposed to stay away after a travel visa. It's not anywhere on the web. No one answers the phone, so that's why I'm here. I wanted to tear down the chin height counter and be a human. How long do you want to stay in the UK at this time? She asked. She slid a form at me with boxes to check. I think a few weeks, I managed to say. Forever? Born to the wrong country? Until my money runs out? Certainly not in fucking London. None of those choices were on the form. A friend invited me to go to his farm in Cornwall, so I thought I'd ask if that was okay. It was a former client who did not want me to identify him. He had an historic listed property, ancient stone fences, horses, farmhouse, kitchen, rent-free as long as I wanted to figure out what was next. But I couldn't tell her any of this because he was American, too, yet fortunate enough to have pots of money. How much time can I apply for? I asked her. Child Kerry asking Grandma for candy. Why didn't you apply for an extension to your existing visa? She asked back. Like I said, I didn't think I'd be staying. I'm just asking, I repeated. Whole truth and nothing but the truth. I was too cheap. It would have cost £350 just to ask. A roll of the dice I had already declined, in case they said no. Now it was too late. In that fluorescent airport, no matter the anxiety, I had to trust the next move to a few dedicated public servants following some convoluted rules that had nothing to do with me, personally. I forced my breathing passages open. Ultimate test of trust. Believe it will turn out okay, even now. My friendly officer left me at the counter with my checkbox form and went up into a glass booth above and behind the kiosks, as impenetrable as the air traffic controller's booth beyond, out where people are allowed to fly. I did my best to slow my breathing and checked 6 months stay. It was the least amount to ask for. Taken down to base instincts, people are animals. How one responds to fear can reveal what animal you are. Some are birds. They stick their beak in your business, peck, or fly away. Some people are cats, soft-bellied. They purr when petted, then bite. Lizards seek a sunny place alone and scramble when you get too close. I figured I was a woodland creature or a small meadow dweller. I used my sensitivity to scent and rumblings on the ground to avoid stress if I could. I had become this by many years of being cornered until I learned to burrow and hide. Not entirely gone, but safe enough. Playing it safe is the creed of the American Midwest, where I grew up. The earth is reliable and has a pull. You can call it gravity, but it's more than that. There is so much soil, dense and brown, moist and loamish, that you're not only pulled straight down to the spot you stand on, but pulled out in all directions, like the giant Gulliver tethered down by a million miniature ropes splayed out to the sides. Yes, there's a lateral gravity to the earth in the Midwest. This is where I learned that you don't leave the ground. A small challenge is a good thing, winning the 100-meter dash or a blue ribbon in piano, but once you've done some rising, you must come back to earth. Reality is where you're standing, and even a couple of feet under, the depth of the plow, the duration of a job. Predictability and hard work and nature create a reliable, comfortable life with all the beer you can drink. Yet, a covert sense of fear buzzed around my family, not unlike the electric fence around Dr. R's horse down the road. Seemingly everyone I knew had family trouble that I could not see, but felt. Neighbors with a habit of peeking through windows. Discontented behind-the-door marriages. Closet alcoholics. Sadness of a lost child. I felt all of it. I didn't know the word empath then, but that definitely was me. I knew everything people felt, all the time. So I naturally assumed everyone knows everything, all the time. I said it a lot. And that premise came to mean that people could be cruel and dangerous. Because why wouldn't they acknowledge what we all know? I had internalized the unseen truths, but was forbidden to act on them. Did that horse see and hear the hot wire around him anymore, or only remember the warning echo of a shock long ago?